Chapter 16 of Somme Battle Stories by Alec John Dawson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 16, The Difference. As a listener only, I participated in a rather interesting meeting on the deck of a hospital ship just berthed at Southampton. Captain J., who was invalided home from the Western Front in the spring of this year, was outward bound for the same sector of our front, and was given permission to board the hospital ship to see Lieutenant R., a relative serving in the same unit, and homeward bound now as the result of a wound received 48 hours earlier in the fighting northwest of Poitiers. Salutations and first inquiries ended, the captain said, "Well, it seems I've missed the best of the fun. I strafed like blazes to get out in the beginning of July, but couldn't bring it off. And now, according to the newspapers, we're getting back to sort of pre-push conditions." "Who says so?" "Oh, some correspondent or other." "Well, I'll bet he hasn't been in the trenches much if he says that. There's nothing the same as it was, even in June, let alone when you were there." "But what's the difference?" "Oh, every mortal thing is different. It all feels different." "But how?" "Every way. For instance, there was nothing but bare mud all round our trenches when you left, and long before the push there was green stuff growing round everywhere, creepers and things straggling over the sides of the trenches, weeds sprouting everywhere. And that's been altered again since the push, everything being ploughed in, as you might say, by the artillery." "Yes, I suppose the heavy stuff has chewed it up a bit, but we saw plenty of that before I left. You remember how the Boche mortars and oil cans smothered us the week before I left, below La Boisselle?" "Oh, that! My dear chap, that was a rest cure. We used to notice a shell hole then. What you notice now is a place where there's no shell hole, and you don't often find it. And anyhow, of course, all the trenches you knew are away behind us now. One goes overland all round there. Even north of that's the same. Lancaster Avenue, Rivington, John o' Gaunt, Coniston, right along by Chorley, Chequer, Bent, Lime Street, Liverpool Avenue, all those streets we worked in before you left. God! The water and the mud there was there. Well, they'll never be used as trenches again, you know. All overland there now, stray bullets, of course, but just as safe as the villages we used to billet in." "Yes, of course, you're further forward, but when one gets there I suppose it's much the same as the old places used to be." "Not the least bit. It's all totally different. You see, we don't go into trenches now to hold a bit of line, as it used to be. We're on the move now, you see. Oh, no, we've done with that rotten old grind of everlastingly going back to the same old quagmires. Then, you know, we're on the high ground now. That makes an enormous difference. You can see the promised land, as Tommy says, see it all the time, and we're nibbling chunks out of it all the time. Oh, the chap who says it's as it was doesn't know what he's talking about. Nobody feels a bit the same, I can tell you. Why, our artillery's working now in places where the Boche's artillery used to be, away ahead of their old front, you know, what used to be behind it. The main thing about the ground one used to look out over was its emptiness. 'Member how desolate it used to look? Dead and empty like those Wells stories, before the earth had any people on it? Begad, it isn't empty now. We clear it up behind us, of course. The salvage chaps see to that. Hundreds of tons of Boche rifles, equipment, and so on. And out in front you get the same mess, but different when the breeze is from that way, because of the number of dead Boches, you know. Lots of the ground we take is full of dead Boches before ever we get near it. Dugouts full, trenches full, shell holes full, dead Boches everywhere. Dead rats, too, by the thousand. And yet the Boches do their best to get in their own dead. They're pretty good at it. Like everything else they do, matter of policy, you know. The sight of so many dead is as discouraging to their troops as the stink of 'em is sickening to us. Oh, I can't tell you what the difference is, but you can take it from me there's nothing the same as it was. Nothing at all. You've only got to look at our men to know the difference. They've become veterans, you know. Real old warriors. Before, we went plodding along, pegging away, you know, because one had to do one's job. But now we're winning the war. We're getting ahead. Everybody knows it. I can't explain the thing, but you'll see what I mean directly you get out. We get held up here and there. We shall go on getting held up, of course, but there's no deadlock. You know we're getting on with it all the time, and the Boche is getting smashed up. Oh, it's different, all right. Looked at on paper, there is something curiously dumb and inarticulate about it all, but I could see the captain felt, as I did, that it certainly was different. If the lieutenant could not explain very well, he was able to transmit his own conviction. A letter reached me from a wounded officer who landed here recently and was sent to a London hospital. He had been asked to let one know what impressed him most about the revolutionary change he passed through from the fighting line northeast of Bazentin-le-Petit to his present resting place in one of the surgical wards of a military hospital in London. But the first thing is the bed, you know. Clean sheets and absolutely unlimited sleep. At first I had a dozen or more sleeps in the day, as well as the solid night slabs of it. Even now I'm hogging it a bit in that respect. It is an absolutely glorious thing to feel the clean sheets all around you, and know you can sleep as much as ever you like. Then the baths. To wash as much as ever you like. I tell you, you've got to go 7 days and nights without ever taking your boots off or seeing soap or a towel to know what this luxury means. It's priceless. And then the grub. It seems I'm a pretty fleshly sort of a chap, eh? Well, it's true anyhow. I still find it a great joy to see a tray with a snowy cloth and shining things put down on my bed table. It sounds piggish, but the eating of the nice clean food is a tremendous joy, just sitting there eating, with a book beside the tray too, and to feel you haven't got to hurry, or watch out, or listen or arrange for any blessed thing at all. Sometimes I just sniff the sweet clean air and enjoy that. I just lie and let my eyes drift up and down the ward, hearing nothing, looking at nothing, enjoying everything. It's peace. I never knew what the word meant before. Nobody can who hasn't lived in the firing line. I've made up my mind what it is that sort of heals and recharges one more than anything else. It's being not responsible for anything or anybody. It's great. End of chapter 16.